was really wonderful. I once again thank him for his excellent talk.
With the due permission of the chair, can we start with the oral presentation, sir? Can we start with the oral presentation? Thank you, sir. For the first oral presentation, I would like to call on stage Mr. Muhammad Fayyad Khan. He's a research scholar from the Department of Public Administration, University of Rajasthan. So please welcome the first oral presenter. One thing I want to brief out, the presentation will be of 10 minutes and the first buzzer will be on 7th minute, and you have to wind up as soon as possible because the final buzzer will be on the 10th minute. Thank you.
मंच पर आते हैं विषय विशेषज्ञों और सभी श्रोतागणों को मेरा नमस्कार। मेरे जो सब्जेक्ट का विषय है वो है लोक संगठन की प्रभावशीलता और संगठन के सतत विकास में कुशलता एक प्रमुख भूमिका अदा करती है। इससे संबंध में अपना पेपर प्रेजेंट कर रहा हूँ। यह सर्वविदित है कि राष्ट्र में लोक संगठनों ने रोजगार सृजन, पूंजी निर्माण, राष्ट्रीय आय तथा आत्मनिर्भरता सहित विकास के विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई। ऐसी स्थिति में संगठन की प्रभावशीलता को जानना एवं उसकी अभिवृद्धि करना आवश्यक हो जाता है। यहाँ प्रभावशीलता से तात्पर्य विस्तार से है। इसके अंतर्गत कोई संगठन सीमित संसाधनों के दायरे में बनकर अपने लक्ष्यों को प्राप्त करता है। वस्तुतः प्रभावी लोक संगठन में जो खासियत या गुण नजर आते हैं उनमें शामिल है एक मजबूत विजन और मजबूत टीम निर्माण की भावना से युक्त नेतृत्व जो कि प्रभावी संप्रेषण की क्षमता रखता हो, संगठन के सदस्यों एवं कार्यों को एक साथ लेने की लेने की बेहतर क्षमता। तीसरा है योग्य व्यक्ति को संगठन की तरफ आकर्षित करना एवं सही व्यक्ति को सही कार्य पर नियुक्त करना। कार्य प्रक्रिया एवं व्यवस्था स्पष्ट एवं सुनिश्चित होनी चाहिए। इसके अतिरिक्त संगठन की संस्कृति जो संगठन की दिशा में प्रभावी परिवर्तन कर सकने की क्षमता रखती है, इसका भी होना आवश्यक है। इस क्रम में उल्लेखनीय है कि लोक संगठन का प्रभावी प्रशासन कौशल के विभिन्न रूपों में से 3 प्रमुख सूत्रों पर निर्भर करता है। एक सफल प्रशासक में 3 कुशलताएं होना आवश्यक है। पहली, तकनीकी कौशल। इसका तात्पर्य है किसी कार्य विशेष में प्रवीण होना एवं उसे लागू करने की क्षमता। दूसरी है मानवीय कौशल। इसका संबंध कार्यकारी व्यक्तियों से है, अर्थात अपने अधीनस्थों, सहचरों एवं उच्च अधिकारियों से। उच्च मानवीय कौशल से युक्त प्रशासक सौहार्द संबंधों व व्यवहारों को लेकर सजग रहता है। तीसरा है अवधारणात्मक कौशल। इसका तात्पर्य है संगठन को उसके समग्र में देखने की योग्यता, यह जानना कि संगठन के विविध कार्य किस प्रकार परस्पर अंतर संबंधित है। वस्तुतः किसी भी निर्णय की सफलता उसकी अवधारणात्मक कौशल पर निर्भर करती है। उल्लेखनीय है कि एक लोक संगठन में निम्न स्तर पर तकनीकी कौशल महत्वपूर्ण होता है, वहीं मानवीय कौशल संगठन के प्रत्येक स्तर पर आवश्यक होता है तथा संगठन के उच्च स्तर पर अवधारणात्मक कौशल प्रमुख होता है। अतः वैश्वीकरण के इस युग में लोक संगठन अपनी सार्थकता को बनाए रखें एवं उपयोगी सिद्ध हो सकें, इसके लिए प्रशासन कौशल के सभी रूपों से उसे सुसज्जित रहना होगा। धन्यवाद।
Any questions from the audience?
Now, I would like to call on stage Dr. Meenakshi Thakur, Associate Professor, Biyani Group of Colleges, for her presentation.
I think before I start, Mr. PM Bhadwar sir has to go, I think. So we should better relieve him. Can I request for the token of gratitude so that sir can leave? So, Professor P.K. Jain sir, I will request you to please present a token of gratitude to Mr. PM Bhadwar sir. Thank you, sir, for your session, for your valuable time and presence. Thanks a lot. Can I start? So, coming back to the presentation. Good afternoon, everybody. Today, I grabbed this opportunity to share one of my research work with you people. Uh, as the thing we know, we all have been hearing it since morning that we're talking about role of public administration in developing human resource and management skills, right? So here we are talking about managing skills, resources, and everything. So I thought, what could be there for a linguist, for a person from a language background to find out in this field? And a year back, I have this research work with me when I was taking my class in management department, and one of my management students asked me, "Now, why should managers need to learn the communication skills? What is the benefit for them in that?" So that question actually gives me an insight. I got very inquisitive with that specific question. I have to justify the student why management students or the becoming managers need to understand the management skills. So on that note, I decided let's find out. And I try to, obviously all of us, we try to scroll on the Google Guru. So I searched some books, I searched some articles. Then I got to know there some research work has already been done to find out actually communication skills and the role of managers in that. So I tried to explore the concept more and more, and I rebuilt the concept in the form of this role of communication skills for managers. And now I'm talking about role of communication skills in developing sustainable resource management skills, right? So for that purpose, when I started with the study, we approached 150 people. That means at that time we had a sample of 150 people. And unfortunately, as you know, people are never open for any this kind of endeavor for research work. We only got 35% of response. That is, you can imagine 52 to 53 people, they actually honestly participated in that research. So this is my work that I'm going to share with you. Everybody has spoken about sustainability, management, administration. Just going back to that, and what I have explored through this concept of sustainability from my side, I'll just share it with you. So sustainability has its etymological meaning, or the basic meaning actually is the ability to constitute a defined behavior indefinitely. That means whatever behavior you are having, you are continuing it. That is actually sustainability, the basic meaning. We are talking about sustainability in terms of nowadays environmental sustainability, economic sustainability, and social sustainability. These are the different parameters we are trying to figure out what actually is sustainability, right? When we are talking in terms of environmental sustainability, we know we want to preserve and conserve the environmental factors and things. When talking about economic sustainability, we want to keep our economy on a higher note. And we are talking about the social sustainability, that means that social structure or system that we are having, we want to preserve it. So for my study, actually what was the purpose, I want to find that specific thing was not correct. Either my tone was not matchable, my accent was not that proper, which didn't help you to understand what I exactly mean. So basically communication, it is a fact that it needs a messenger, it needs a respondent, but it is also a fact that it needs a proper way of communication. The way I intend to communicate with you, that means your intonation, your stress for the word, it make a lot of impact over it. I'll just give you an example. If I very politely say, please shut the door, you'll feel that I am requesting you for something. If I say, shut the door, my pitch has changed, my stress on little notes has changed. That means I am commanding you, isn't it? The same word, but impact is changed. So this is actually all the mastery of our own pitch, our intonation, right? So actually in communication, basically we are dealing with such things, alright? So communication is there, you understood what actually is, how it is going to make an impact. Now when we talk about administering something, in administration also when the work is successfully completed, when it is successfully being transferred it to the person who is going to deliver it. So it is very important that when we are talking about administrative communication, it has to be in that same way. Your way of making the other person deliver their effort has to be very clear. So in that sense, in administrative communication also, it has to be very clear. And sustainability means it has to be in a sustained manner, which I in the beginning mentioned that what the behavior was supposed to carry forward, it has to be in the same manner. So I think these things can be easily related when I'm talking about sustainability, I'm talking about management, I'm talking about administration, I'm talking about the communication. Why? Because in communication only, through communication only, I can make my people who are working with me or who are working for me sustainable as a thing. Because the very important resource in any kind of an organization is their people. So first I believe that this sustainability is people-centered actually. It is a people-centered approach. Why? It is sustaining the people actually. If there won't be people, if there won't be human resources who are going to talk about, who are going to deliver things, right? So this is what in mind I had kept when I explored this research. Now, what was the purpose of questions that I framed in my questionnaire? First of all, I want to rate the communication skills a project manager should possess. Another, I want to identify and determine if leadership is an important skill needed by a project manager effectively. Then I wanted to determine the extremely important communication skill a project manager needs to communicate effectively regarding sustainability. So for that purpose, from that questionnaire actually we got these responses. And is it visible? Should I change the background? Is it visible? Okay. As you can see, the leadership skill, I can understand you can ask a question now. None में 3.1, 4.1, 3.1 क्यों है? Because out of the all questions, some people they responded one question, half of the question. So on the basis of that, I calculated, I marked these things, right? It is on a leadership scale in which the first one it represents whichever is not important, and the last fifth one shows which is the extremely important portion. Second is the fair enough important, then important, and the fourth is very important, right? So according to their responses, from their responses, what I found out, leadership skill it has got an average of 4.5, and decision making has also got an average of 4.5. Listening has got an average of 4.2. Motivation has got an average of 4.2. Conflict management 4.1. Meeting 4.1. Team development and team building 4.1. And negotiation explaining they are having the same kind of a rating, average 4. And public and mass communication has got 3.4. And the last was questioning skill that got an average of 3.2. From this, I got to understand that our leadership skill is back the first position. It was the most important skill as they all felt. The project managers from whom I have actually gathered this information. So basically, what actually we mean by leadership skills? The way we are going to head a team, the way we are going to actually make it a team. That is basically our leadership skills. Our decision making and problem solving. A good project manager needs to be a good decision maker. And who can be a good decision maker? Who actually understands things and more importantly understand the people who are working with him, right? So he can make decisions in their favor and according to the organization policy. So he has to keep a balance between the two. Then we have listening. If a good a manager is not a good listener, then he can't be a good manager. The manager has to be a good listener. He has to be open for all the problems, for all the feedback he's getting from these people. So this skill is also very important, and if whenever and wherever the skill is missing, the people, the management of that human resource is quite impossible. Then we talk about motivation. Obviously, a good project manager do need to have that motivational skill with him so that he can make his team actually a team. Otherwise, people will be working in diverse directions. They won't be working in a team. They won't be working together. So that person has to be motivated. And how a person can motivate another person? With his communication skills, with his better abilities to communicate actually. You need to understand what kind of crowd is in front of me, what kind of people are there with me. According to their mental level, according to their understanding level, I have to make them understand something. So this is your motivation skill that need to be there. Then we have conflict management. It is a quite normal, general thing that in an organization, in a team, there will be a conflict. Because wherever in the morning when I was having the starting speech, I said that there will be two different, like there will be a conflict, and if there is no conflict, we are not going to have no new idea. So conflict is needed actually. People have a misconception that stress is very bad. I feel stress and anxiety are very good because they actually regenerate our mind. Otherwise, we won't think anything new. So we need to have some kind of pushers which make us to think and imagine, right? So in conflict management, what should be the role of a manager? So with that note, I just try to wind it up very quickly. These were the basic 12 skills which I have taken from my study. I try to find out how good a project manager's communication skills can prove to be effective for a sustainable kind of a management in human resources, right? So this was how I made a response sheet. This on the basis of ranking. And these were the recommendations and conclusions that I tried to make out. The only thing that we found out that leadership is very important and good leader need to be a good communicator. So in that, with that note, I'll try to wind up everything in quick manner. The communication skills plays a very vital role in developing administrative skills, management skills, and to make it possible things to be sustainable. So we need to think it over how we communicate and is our communication clear enough for the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.